life is gone, but I'm still here. Part of my heart is frozen in fear. The tears are gone, but I'm still here. God, illuminate my path and make it clear. I've been hurt and I've been bruised, and I've never been more confused. How could a life so young just disappear? All the pain and the heartache has caused my soul to break, and I believe it may be beyond repair. For a life is gone, but I'm still here. Part of my heart is frozen in fear. The tears are gone, but I'm still here. God, illuminate my path and make it clear. There's a truth that I must face, a love and life I must replace. Each memory is never far from my mind. Even though the days are long, over time I will be strong. For the love of God is generous and kind. For a life is gone, but I'm still here. Part of my love is frozen in fear. The tears are gone, but I'm still here. God, illuminate my path and make it clear. I will dedicate my day, bless the time that came my way, to other hearts that need some help just like mine. I shall gain the love I lost, reclaim the soul I tossed, recreate my life with God's design. For a life is gone, but I'm still here. Part of my life is frozen in fear. The tears are gone, but I'm still here. God, illuminate my path and make it clear.
Recently, there was a guest essay in the New York Times by Rabbi Sharon Brous, who is the founding and senior rabbi of Ikar, a Jewish community in Los Angeles. In the essay, she describes an ancient Jewish practice which I think is pertinent for today. I'm going to read the practice to you, quoting Rabbi Brous. It's a fairly long quote, so please bear with me. Buried deep within the Mishnah, a Jewish legal compendium from around the 3rd century, is an ancient practice reflecting a deep understanding of the human psyche and spirit. When your heart is broken, and when the specter of death visits your family, when you feel lost and alone and inclined to retreat, you show up. You entrust your pain to the community. The text from the Mishnah describes a pilgrimage ritual from the time of the Second Temple. Several times each year, hundreds of thousands of Jews would ascend to Jerusalem, the center of Jewish religious and political life. They would climb the steps of the Temple Mount, enter its enormous plaza, turning to the right en masse and circling counterclockwise. Meanwhile, the brokenhearted, the mourners, and here I would include the lonely and the sick, would make the same ritual walk, but they would turn to the left and circle in the opposite direction, every step against the current. And each person who encountered someone in pain would look into that person's eyes and inquire, "What happened to you? Why does your heart ache?" "My father died," a person might say. "There are so many things I never got to say to him." Or perhaps, "My partner left. I was completely blindsided." Or, "My child is sick. We're awaiting the test results." Those who walked from the right would offer a blessing. "May the Holy One comfort you," they would say. "You are not alone." And then they would continue to walk until the next person approached. This timeless wisdom speaks to what it means to be human in a world of pain. This year, you walk the path of the anguished. Perhaps next year it will be me. I hold your broken heart, knowing that one day you will hold mine. Rabbi Brause's point is that it's important to always show up, both as a comforter and as a mourner. I think that this ritual has something to say about how we grieve and what we do when we are in pain. Grief is an interesting experience, to put it mildly. Now, each of us grieves differently, but we all do grieve and mourn. It may be big things like the loss of a loved one. It may be smaller but still consequential things such as not getting a job that you wanted. It may come from losing a pet or losing an item that's important to you. We grieve when our health is no longer what it once was. There are big griefs and not so big griefs, but there is no such thing as unimportant grief. Now, we may try to tamp down our grief, and that does no good. It will surface eventually, sometimes in not so pleasant ways. How we grieve is important. And the one common thing among our grief is that we are not called to do it alone. We are called to join those circles in the temple and encounter others who will help ease our pain. Rabbi Brause is right. It's important to show up from both sides of grief. It's important to acknowledge and share those moments of grief and mourning. As I already said, each of us grieves differently. There is no timeline to grief. According to the website grief.com, grief is the internal part of loss, how we feel. The internal work of grief is a process, a journey. It does not end on a certain day or date. Some of us would deny our grief. Everything is fine, I'll be okay. But that does no good. Likewise, some of us think that we have to go it alone. We don't need to join that circle that Reverend Rabbi Brause described. I'm strong. I don't need anyone to help me through this. But I don't believe that to be true. I believe we all need to be in those circles, going one direction or the other. If days are good and life is sunny, it's important that we meet those who are having a rougher time. Again, I quote Rabbi Brause's article, quote, "Asking with an open heart, 'Tell me about your sorrow,' may be the deepest affirmation of our humanity, even in terribly inhumane times, is an expression of both love and sacred responsibility to turn to another person in her moment of deepest anguish and say, 'Your sorrow may scare me, it may unsettle me, but I will not abandon you. I will meet your grief with relentless love.'" And that's the truth about grief, isn't it? It's frightening and unsettling. We might rather turn away from someone in grief rather than walk with them, filling ourselves with their sorrow and dismay. We are frightened by it partly, I think, because we know we must go through it at some point too. Your grief mirrors the grief I fear I will have to deal with at some point in the future. We don't want to look at that. We don't want to accept the truth of it. Grief does indeed make us uncomfortable, but we need to join those ancient circles that help to ease the burden of grief, to respond with what Reverend Brause called relentless love. But it is exactly in those encounters that we begin to heal. Knowing another holds our pain doesn't make it go away, but shared grief makes you feel connected, a part of something bigger. And I just want to add that as you circle in your grief, the people you encounter carry the divine with them so that you are not circling alone. You are circling, finding God there. When it's your time to grieve, don't take the necessary journey. Take the necessary journey with it. Don't try to subvert it or force it down. And when you're not grieving, when life is better for you, be there for others who are going through the pain of grief and sorrow. You can't remove it from them, but you can walk with them through it and bring comfort. And so it is. Amen. For our meditation today, I'm going to read a poem again. A poem entitled Think of Others by Mahmoud Darwish. It's translated from the Arabic by Mohammed Shaheen. So as Michael sets up, I invite you to get comfortable. Get comfortable wherever you are. Relax. If you want, close your eyes. And just take a deep breath. Breathing helps to release our stresses and worries. So take a deep breath and release it slowly. And do it again. Filling up your lungs, not just with air, but with the worries and cares that you carry with you. And then breathe them out. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others. Those who are nursed by clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. And do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others. Those who have nowhere to sleep. As you express yourself in metaphor, think of others. those who have lost the right to speak. As you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark. Now I invite you to just take another deep breath. Let it out slowly. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes a bit. When you're ready, open your eyes. Come back to wherever you are and think of others. Amen.
Thank you, Gerry. I needed to hear that. So I recently lost a dear friend, and one of the best things that has happened is that those of us who are friends of her have gotten together twice and shared our grief, and it was really, really wonderful and healing. And when I tell people about the situation, the thing that's helped me the most is when people have said, "I'm sorry." So here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are, because we're on Ocean Avenue, Ocean of Love. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Each week, we will join together in saying one of our statements. Please join me in saying this week's statement, which is on the screen. Our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this space, feeling so inspired by our vision, mission, and values, and feeling so enriched by what we've experienced here today, let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. So as Michael shares another song, we are invited to support this congregation with a check made out to USC, or cash, or by making a donation online. If you are here in the sanctuary, the ushers will come forward to take your offering. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of our offering, collected every Sunday, to various Unity organizations and local nonprofits serving our city. Let us now take a moment to bless our tithes and love offerings as we cup them in our hands or next to our hearts. Let us say our offering blessing, which is on your screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Life is nothing but simple lessons like you learn in school. Tests may come and tests may go about the golden rule. But when you lose someone so dear, leaving empty picture frames, heartache lingers, anger simmers, and bitterness remains. Let the teardrops one by one, let the rain begin. And after it has washed your world, life will start again. And you will learn to laugh when you feel like crying. Share a smile when your heart is dying. Get a grin when you think you might give in. Radiate when the sun's not shining. Happiness and love combining. Make your life a better life to live. Time is frozen in that moment, but even glaciers move. Scientists have measured that, and there's nothing left to prove. Although it seems the earth is stopped, God wisely has a plan. You'll find yourself inside your life for the duration of the span. And you learn to laugh when you feel like crying. Share a smile when your heart is dying. Get a grin when you think you might give in. Radiate when the sun's not shining. Happiness and love combining. Make your life a better life to live. You may wonder, as you wonder, what fills up an empty space. Maybe now you focus on the things outside your space. Every bit of laughter and every smile you bring can fill a lonely heart with joy as your winter turns to spring. And you will learn to laugh when you feel like crying. Share a smile when your heart is dying. Get a grin when you think you might give in. Radiate when the sun's not shining. Happiness and love combining. Make your life a better life to live. And you'll find yourself with so much more to give.
Please join me in blessing our tithes and love offerings. Spirit of the living God, bless the acts of our hands, our minds, our hearts. May everything offered here at Unity Spiritual Center be a reflection of all that is good within us. Grant us the courage to patiently listen for the stirring of your presence. Enliven our spirits with humor. Fill us with reverence for one another and gratitude for our diversity. May unity, beauty, and truth be the fruit of all we do. And so it is. Amen.